What is up, everybody? It's Mark here again with Inconceivable Toys, just doing a video. This time I'm actually going to do a toy review, and it's on the new Princess Bride figures that came out. I got my order in like a week or so ago, and I figured why not kick off doing a toy review with some Princess Bride. Now, as you guys can see, Inconceivable Toys, I get Vincini, a friend of mine who's an artist, Blair Webb. He and his wife did this logo for me. I just liked the movie and I always thought it was funny. He said inconceivable, so I came up with that idea, and they drew the picture and put them on there. If you guys can see that, and I know it's backwards, but yeah, he's on there. And I got some ideas for them to do with the other characters because of selling at shows. But anyway, I'm gonna do a quick review. It's gonna be probably less than 10 minutes, and we're gonna start with the Dread Pirate Roberts. Now, I've met a couple of the actors from this movie, and I have some posters signed. But anyway, so they did a really good job. I think Wesley looks, it's not a bad face mold. I think it could have been a little bit better, only because I think he has Cary Ellis has a very distinct jawline. But I mean, it's not terrible. The sword kind of got bent. Like the way in there, the casing in there wasn't held great. But anyway, I mean, like I said, the figures, isn't terrible. I think they could have done a little bit better job with the face mold, but it's all right. There's the back of the box. The come pack is very nice. I think it looks good. I mean, it looks good other than that. You're gonna do Inigo Montoya. This one actually is pretty good. That one looks like Mandy Patinkin. That's a word. You'll keep using it. I don't think it means what you think it means. But yeah, he's pretty good again. Nice packaging. I'm hoping they do Humperdinck, the Six-Fingered Man, Vincini, and Max and those. I hope they do some of them. Now, moving on to Princess Buttercup. What's her name? Pen. Can't remember her name. Her first name off the top of my head. I mean, she's actually a very, very pretty woman. I think they could have done a lot better with her face mold. It's just not. It does her no justice. I think. I don't know. Even like the nose. I think she has very distinct flaring nostrils. Which, but they made the bridge of her nose here very wide on the figure. And I think that if you guys can see that, I think that does it just makes her face doesn't look as narrow. She has very distinct bone structure, like her chin, her jawline, and the way her nose is. And I just think they made it it's like they slimmed out her face and then made her nose bridge like overly big. But I thought they could have. But I mean, again, it's cool that they're doing figures. Sometimes you wish. It's kind of like, McFarlane's like Mattel. They either knock it out of the park or they screw up the figure. It's like wrestling. Like when Mattel does when they do the elites, it's like sometimes they hit home runs, and then other times they just cannot get a figure right. Like, I haven't seen a good Ronda Rousey, Alana. I mean, it's just like they take these, they just can't make them. But then they they make some other ones and they do really well. I just don't understand why they don't take a little bit more time to especially with all the technology of scanning faces and everything they do, the 3D imagery. So the fourth and final figure in this set is Fezzik. Of course, we all know is played by Andre the Giant. Other than his face, again, the face on this is just, I mean, it's a great looking figure. I'm so upset that they screwed up his face. They gave him a very, very dark, I'll show you here in a minute, very, very dark beard and like dark circles in his eyes. It just, it just doesn't, it just doesn't look like. I mean, Andre Giant had no facial hair other than his, his chops on the side, which the chops on his side they're on the figure. But you can see he had no chin, and then they just why do that? Why darken it up so much? Anybody want a peanut? I could kill you with this. It's just so disappointing. But like I said, overall the figure looks really good. Other than that, they take away. And I know they kind of Andre had that very casting big. His brows came out further, so I guess they were trying to show the shadowing of that. It was kind of, I think it was overkill. They probably could have just done a little less on that, and maybe just take the beard off. It's so disappointing. But the boxing, overall, the boxing is exceptional. I mean, I think they did a great job with the boxing on these. I think they did a great thing with the line. I just hope they do the rest of them, because they tend to sometimes with these certain movies, they'll do initial ones and then they won't do any more, and then you're like, well, what was the point of doing the 4, right? They did it with the Funko Pops. So they did Funko Pops for these, and they did the same ones, and then they kind of just left it there and they didn't finish it. It's like, why? I mean, we got, you got hundreds of these other stupid TV shows and movies, but we can't do one of those, one of that. I don't understand. Outside of that, guys, that was just, I wanted to do a quick toy review for the day. I also wanted to remind you guys, for those who don't know, I run a toy show in Maryland. Myself, my 2 partners, Christian Kuhn and Heather Meadows, we run a toy show. It's called the Maryland Toy Expo. It's held at the Maryland State Fairgrounds in Timonium. We do it twice a year. We do a June show and we do a November show. Our next show is June 18th. It's a Saturday. And for those who have never been to the State Fairgrounds in Maryland, it's what you would expect, a big, huge state fairground. It's a big indoor. They have a couple different indoor facilities, but we're using a big exhibition center. We have 147 10x10 booths full of toys from the 50s on up to modern, and it's just covered wall to wall, full of toys. So if you're in the area or you're in the general area, again, I travel in New Jersey and Cincinnati and Columbus and all up and down the East Coast. I go all the different toy shows I can set up. But if you're local and you're in the area, or you're out of the area and you want to give it a try, come on down to Maryland. We've been doing it for 5 years. It's our first year at the fairgrounds. We outgrew our previous location, so we moved here. So check that out. You can go to Facebook and Maryland Toy Expo, or you can go to MarylandToyExpo.com, and that'll pull us up. And so give us a like on both of those for up-to-dates. Check out my Facebook page, Inconceivable Toys. The YouTube channel, as you guys hear, subscribe to that. And where else do I have? Oh, I am also on Instagram. It's inconceivable_toys. So check me out on there. I post on there as well, my finds and things like that. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.